From Center Culture Studios in downtown Atlanta, this is the ATL Arts Collective powered by ArtsATL. I'm Kim Drobes, and this is a highly collaborative show. Each week, we welcome a featured contributor, and this week I have the pleasure of being with Alison Law. She is an editor, a writer, a voiceover artist, and so much more.
Yes, and a huge Kim Drobes fan.
Oh, thank you, Alison. I'm so
Of
happy
course.
you're here.
I'm so glad to be with you.
So when I was teasing your upcoming appearance last week, I remembered that you at one point called yourself the Book Evangelist. Do you still like that moniker?
Very much, very much. And of course, the people who are listening and watching the ATL Arts Collective podcast are probably my choir, right? I'm going to be preaching to a little bit today. So hopefully we'll get a few amens.
Well, Alison is going to be with us for the full show. But right now, we're going to go straight into our very first story. So out in the Nevada desert, tens of thousands of people are gathering for Burning Man. It kicks off this Sunday, and it is known for its massive art sculptures that are burned to the ground by the end of the festival. Well, one Atlanta artist is making a massive sculpture, but it is out of metal and not meant to be burned to the ground, but instead burned daily as a memory to a dearly departed friend. I recently caught up with Charlie Black Cat Smith in his West End warehouse to learn more.
And then this is the wheel of mustachio, where you can spin the wheel to get a mustache or get a cream pie in the face. So it's like part of a whole shtick, you know.
Charlie has been heading to the playa since the late 90s. Over nearly 3 decades, his large-scale fine art has earned him a reputation as a kind of Johnny Appleseed of the burn. But this trip, it's a little different. This year, he's building a massive memorial piece, The Burning Book of Brian, to honor his late friend, author Brian Doherty, who passed away earlier this year.
I've been going since 1998. Well, I didn't know what to expect, except for that I had heard that was somewhat anarchic and really edgy, and anything goes. It was all about survival. You have the weirdest, kind of, because that's kind of what it was. And it was really about, making artwork that was outside of the museum. More than anything else, it's about experimentation on community and alternative living and permaculture and how to exist as a community.
Inside his enormous West End workshop, Charlie walks me through the blueprint of the towering effigy. It features a giant metallic open book with a heart suspended directly in the center.
And these are the 4 ventricles of the heart here, the heart that's going to be suspended in the Book of Brian.
Using a mix of custom fabricated steel and found raw objects, Charlie's work blurs the line between functional engineering, kinetic sculpture, and communal hearth.
And what you're seeing right now is the book. That's what we're building, and then the drawing of the heart armature is what we're looking at in front of it, and how it's going to go together and how it's going to connect in. These are the top ventricles for the fire vents that actually sit on top of the book on the right and left side and acts as a portal for the fire energy to escape from the wood. So this is how it starts.
Standing over 13 feet tall, the installation is designed not to be destroyed, but to act as a permanent hearth throughout the week, a place where wood burns, embers glow, and people gather to cook and share memories.
So I'm going to make a souffle of metal, cooking with art. But yeah, this is the beginning. The piece is 13 and a half feet tall. Too tall, it's too hard to throw the logs in. You feed the fire feeds you. So what we always cook off of the embers because we're burning wood. And why shouldn't we not cook and sustain ourselves in every possible way of being warm, sustaining ourselves with shared information, sustaining ourselves with joyous expression and characterization.
Charlie is currently in transit with the sculpture, driving 2,000 miles to the desert dust. Unlike traditional effigies that burn to the ground, Charlie's steel book will withstand the fire, remaining intact through the dust storms and desert nights, a permanent pulsing heart for a friend whose memory isn't going anywhere. ArtsATL editor Danielle Charbonneau was with me when I visited Charlie recently, and she has also done a story on Charlie and the memorial piece of art that he's made for his friend. It is a very detailed piece. It's beautiful. Please check it out. Head over to artsatl.org. And now we are back with Alison Law. Hello again.
That sounds incredible. Have you ever been to Burning Man?
I haven't. I haven't.
Me either.
I
Me
mean,
either. I'm very intimidated by it.
a little bit,
Yes.
same. Like, it looks amazing. The art looks fantastic. But every time you see a picture, you see these giant dust bowls
Yes.
running around.
Yes.
Everybody's got their respirators on.
It feels a little Mad Max.
a little Mad Max, and I just don't think I'm quite tough enough.
I know.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I'm a little more Nomad Land instead of Burning Man, I guess.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So our favorite book evangelist, Alison Law, is here.
I'm here.
And I want to catch up with you. We've been working together since the previous incarnation of the show.
Right.
You've been an excellent contributor. You do beautiful pieces, and I'm so excited to be able to share what you brought today.
Yeah,
But
me
before
too.
we get to that, I want to know what else you've been up to. I know you've been doing voiceover work. When did that start?
It started probably in the late 90s when I was working in a TV newsroom in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is where I'm from originally. I was working in the news department, and back then we had the PA system, and we would page people to come to the newsroom when we needed somebody. So I had paged someone to the newsroom, and a few minutes later, the promotions director showed up, which is never a good thing in the newsroom when the suits show up.
Right.
And he was asking around, and he was like, "Who just made that announcement over the PA system?" And I was like, "Me." And he said, "Would you be interested in doing some promotions, voicing these?"
Amazing.
So that's kind of that's the origin story. But of course, we're going to flash forward a hot minute. And I trained when I first moved to Atlanta in 2000 with the late Paul Armbruster, who used to be the voice of the plane train and in the TSA lines at the airport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just an incredible voice actor and teacher. And then in the past couple of years, I was like, I really, really want to continue my training and see if I can do this at least on a part-time basis. So
That's
that's
fantastic.
been, and in addition to everything else that I have and as part of Alison Law Communications. So
I heard that you just did a pretty big national spot.
I did. I voiced my first national commercial.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So hopefully it'll be coming to airwaves 15 seconds at a time
I love it.
in the near future.
I love it. And you've been putting your voice to work in other ways too. You started acting.
I have. I've been doing the on-camera acting was the big surprise, Kim.
Okay.
I did that. I started taking acting classes at Drama Inc.,
Okay.
which is over in Grant Park, and incredible studio, all working actors who are teaching you exactly what they are doing on a daily basis as they audition, submit, and perform as working actors. And I was like, I need to kind of stretch these atrophied muscles, and the on-camera stuff was fun. I've been auditioning pretty regularly and participating in Atlanta's really interesting economy. It's an interesting time to join
I bet.
the entertainment industry.
I bet.
But there's
We're
so much.
struggling a little bit.
We are, but I'm also so inspired by the people that I've met, by the generosity of the people who are in this community, and the hopefulness and the brilliance of so many talented people.
I love that.
So many talented people who
I
are
love
in
that.
front of and behind the camera. Yeah.
So, as someone like myself that came from a voice background, how did you feel your first time on camera? Did it feel natural? Were you scared?
It is scary. And I feel better about the fact that most of the on-camera people that I have met are not in this to watch themselves on TV or on a streaming show or on a film, because my first reaction was like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch,
Here we go,
right?
here
Let
we
me cover
go.
my eyes, right?
Right.
But you stop, as you learn more, you stop looking at your flaws and you start paying attention to not just what's happening with you, but it's changed the way that I watch other people
Oh,
act
cool.
and how I watch shows now. And, I'm in awe of the people who are who are doing this on a regular basis.
That's wonderful. I
Yeah.
love that you're stretching all of your muscles. Congratulations. I think that is what keeps us young. It keeps us sharp, just continuing to learn new things and try new things. Kudos to you.
Yes. And my favorite class at Drama Inc. is my on-camera 40 class for actors who are 40 and older.
Love it.
Yes,
Love
yes.
it.
And our most popular, most booked actor there is a little bit over 80. So
All right. All
so
right.
it's never too late.
No, it's not. That's fantastic. All right. Well, I think I gave you a heads up, but we do Beats, Bites, and Sights where you're going to share with me some of your favorite things in Atlanta.
I know, and I have to pretend like I leave my house in order to in order to do this.
All right, let's start with Beats. Where do you like to go to hear music, maybe theater, comedy, some sort of performance venue that you feel very comfortable at?
I will tell you that I have been spending a lot of time lately with the fine folks at Dad's Garage.
Oh, they're awesome.
Because speaking of bravery and doing things that are uncomfortable, I am taking an improv class.
Oh, wow.
And my husband, Zach, is taking a stand-up comedy class. So,
Fabulous.
yes, we are both like,
Trying it.
yeah. But I'm amazed at the people who are in my class. It's a very diverse class. People from all different backgrounds, ages, ethnic backgrounds. There are probably 2 or 3 people in my class where English is their second
Good
language.
for them.
And one person who has identified as someone who's on the autism scale. And I admired their bravery. They're doing it not because they want to be, improv comedians on stage. They're doing it because and you can see us all at times are kind of like shaking and nervous. But it's just, being able to practice and learn in a really safe place. And I've also learned, Kim, in the couple of years that I've been in entertainment industry, how well respected, well regarded Dad's Garage is.
No, right? We're very lucky to have them here.
Yes. Talent managers and agents from all over, if they see that on your resume, they are really impressed because they
That's
have such
awesome.
an incredible program there.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know it from that point of view, but I know they consistently book really fantastic comedians. And I'm like, I can't believe it's going to be at Dad's Garage because it's such a lovely, intimate venue. And often it's someone that I feel like could sell a much bigger stage,
Mm.
but you can tell they just prefer to be at Dad's Garage because it's very comfortable.
It is. It's an intimate, you feel like you have a good rapport with
Yeah.
your audience. It's almost every night of the week. There's a show or something happening there. So that's incredible. And then, like I said, they have this other arm where it's all education. And I just saw in their newsletter that, they have the adult classes that they offer, but their just opening up their fall camps for kids.
Cool.
So it's kids who are in 3rd grade and older have an opportunity during that fall break to go and have some fun with the Dad's Garage folks.
That's fantastic. All right, well, let's move on to bites. Where do you like to go for a good meal or a good bev?
I love that we have so many incredible restaurants to choose from. I mean, it's really an embarrassment of riches. But this week, I got to revisit Ella in the Virginia Highlands. It is a Mediterranean restaurant, which is
Yum.
probably one of my favorite types of food. And they have incredible mezza, just a really, really chill environment. And I'm going to tell you the star of the show are these laffa breads that come
Ooh.
out with a whipped feta dip.
Yum.
And we're just talking about like your appetizer course, right? We made them leave that with us when we got to our main dishes, which were
Don't take that from me.
we want to kind of bathe in that feta dip. So leave that there. But yeah, the pita bread and feta dip and this beautiful, perfectly grilled shrimp. And
Yum.
so I just
Okay.
love that.
Well, I have never been there, so I'm going to put that on my list.
Yes.
Thank you for
yes.
that.
I'll meet you there.
Fabulous. All right, so last up is sites. This can be anything, a place where you like to go for inspiration, to see art. It could be nature. What fills your heart?
I have been really, again, this is a little focused, right? I have been spending time going back to movie theaters.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And seeing films and watching films. I had this thing for a while. You can tell me if you've experienced this, where it's like I'm at home and I feel like I can watch a show, but a movie feels like too much of a commitment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I'll watch like 4 episodes of a show. And so I'm trying to rewire my brain to really appreciate the decisions. And now that I know a little bit of the behind the scenes work that goes into it, to be able to appreciate it. And I love to do that at the Terra.
Oh, the Terra.
Yes.
We're so lucky.
Yes. So fortunate that the folks at the Plaza took over that establishment.
No doubt. No
Yes.
doubt. I heard that Mr. Chris Escobar, who owns the Plaza and
Yeah.
the Terra, is buying another theater out of state. I think it's in Ohio.
Wow.
I know. So I love that he's taken on this crusade to
Yeah.
make sure that these older theaters, regardless of where they are,
Yes.
get preserved. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
And it's not just running your first run movies. They do so much to contribute to all kinds of different events. I know there's something there every weekend. They had a director who came in to lead a talk after, a showing of a film this past
Nice.
weekend. So, I mean, I think there's so much happening there. So check back in with the Terra.
Great choices. Thank you, Allison.
Sure.
All right, well, now let's turn things over to Jasmine Henschel from Gulch Magazine. Each month, Jasmine joins us for our series, Making It Work, where she talks to local creatives about how they actually make a living and thrive in Atlanta. Today, she's talking to textile artist and arts educator, Kamisha Butler.
Jasmine with Gulch Magazine here. We're really excited today to be talking with Kamisha Butler. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. I am a textile artist, a craft preservationist, a researcher, born and raised in Atlanta, from the West End of Atlanta, a product of APS schools, Fulton County schools. I think that's about it.
Amazing. And today we are at the Hayfield Depot Museum. Do you want to give a little bit of context and maybe describe the environment?
Yeah, we're at the Hayfield Depot Museum. It is a historical building here. It is, I guess, a renovated train depot museum from the past that's been turned into a museum. And here in the third space that has all of these interesting historical and artistic images. I also participated in a program here, and some of my work is on display here. So I like to spend time here when I can.
So What does making it work actually look like for you as an artist, as a creative, as a researcher, when we're talking about making a living month to month? What does that look like for Kamisha?
Making it work means making it happen, making something shake. It is, being an artist by all means necessary. From a month to month, sometimes it can be great, sometimes it can be not so great, feast or famine. But at the end of the day, the goal is to be a great artist and contribute to the community.
Yeah. And for you in a typical month, what are you piecing together to make income, to live life and get by?
Yeah, I think for me, it's a little different because Sam, the director here, has told me that I'm an institutional artist. So I think it's a little different for me because I don't really make money off of sales. I rarely sell art. I might sell maybe one or two pieces a year. So in a month, I'm working on projects that are with different institutions, different programs. And so a month might be me working on completing something that is going to be in some type of show. It's grant based, that kind of thing. And then also I do wholesale products for different gift shops, museums, and then workshops, educating people, those types of things.
Do you think there's any particular benefits or challenges for that type of artist here in Atlanta?
First of all, this year here is my first year, like all art based income. And it's also a year where I have done very little work with the city. I did a couple of things here, but most of my opportunities have been out of state. And Atlanta is looking more of like a base and a home, more so than a place where I make my money. Unfortunately, because there's only so many institutions here that I can work with, and they are not well oiled. So even if I want to work with them, and I've expressed this to the people I work with, it's difficult to work with someone when there's so many unnecessary barriers as far as payments and structures and understanding of what it takes to be an artist and to create. It's a real disconnect of understanding.
So let's say there's a new artist who comes to town, moves to Atlanta, and wants to figure out how to make it work and how to make a living as an artist, as a creative in the city. What advice would you give them?
The first thing any artist needs to do is decide what type of artist they're going to be. I mean, like, are you going to be someone that makes art that goes well in people's living rooms? Are you going to be a person that works with corporations? Like, what type of artist are you going to be? And align yourself with those people and have a really good amount of discernment of what you're trying to do and who you're trying to do it with. And I tell people this all the time, like, I do this for a living, so I can't do a lot of things that are just for fun, for images, for a party, for a this. I have to be able to see some type of like return that is beneficial to me, in a way.
How does that influence when you're thinking about balancing like being a business and being a business person, making a living, but also like maintaining a relationship with these other ways of thinking and practicing?
I think it ties into everything because because I do have a craft background, I consider myself to be a craft-based artist. And it took a long time to get there because there is a stigma around craft. There's a sheen, like people understand what art is, but no one really understands craft. I create textile pieces and I always like create things from a place like a reflection, and I always want to spread a message, but that message is also based in me wanting people to understand like craft needs to be preserved. So if I create this work that draws people in, it educates them. Once they're educated, then increase their taste. And then once their taste is increased, then I can sell this item. They can buy this item. So that is kind of like the plus of me doing all of the work that I do, the research, the lecturing, the creating, the selling of the goods. And I think it's really a great time to talk about that because we got someone playing around with tariffs and all this stuff, but we don't have a manufacturing industry here. We don't have a relationship with made goods here, like an understanding that people make stuff. And like genuinely, I make things and I'm a weaver because I'm a textile artist. I really try to make sure that people understand that there's a way that this translates into something tangible and everyday.
Mm-hmm. Thinking about made goods and crafts in the context of the arts economy, or even just like the economy in general in Atlanta, what's your vision for how you would want to see that as a part of our everyday living in our society?
I would really like to be able, so I have a textile studio. And within a textile studio, that is what I do. Like I make these goods and I sell them wholesale. A goal is to teach people how to do the things I do. So that would be acquiring looms and teaching people how to weave. So again, the cycle, right? You got to educate, right? So if I can educate, have people weaving, more people weave, the more we can understand all these things. That's like a key part of like craft and Luddism, where you want to get things and you want to use things that people make like joyfully, right? So if you go to Walmart, we all have them. I'm not like
Right.
saying that, oh, don't buy them, but I'm saying that those are not made from people that are like happy. They're making them in stress. They're making them in poor working conditions and poor low pay, you know. So it's nice to have something where someone just made them genuinely, like they picked the color, the pattern, and they wove them and they packaged them and you're buying them from that person. You know the person who made them and they're gonna last forever. You know, those things are important to me.
Yeah, a very different relationship with our things. To sort of wrap up our conversation, was wondering if there's anything in particular you have going on that you'd like to share, promote, invite people to?
I have a weaving workshop coming up. It's called Wine and Weave. I'm a member of the Black Fiber Textile Network, and it's a network of Black fiber farmers, makers, everything. And they are supporting me. Goes back to the institutional work, but they're supporting a workshop that I'm doing, and I'm going to be teaching people how to weave a coaster set. There'll be wine, there'll be a nice table. I'm having my friend Ray come in and DJ, so it'll be a nice vibe. That's one thing. Coming up in September, I'm going to be offering like a visual composition intro to art class for self-taught artists so that they can learn kind of like the basics of what people would learn in art school. Also, the Future Lens program with the Atlanta Center for Photography. The kids will be having a show coming up at the end of December. So that's something exciting.
Any final thoughts or anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Atlanta is my home, born and raised. I'm so proud to be from here. And, you know, forever I love Atlanta.
Thank you so much for chatting with us today, Kamisha. It was really lovely to hear from you, hear about your practice, your work, your thinking. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Jasmine Henschel of Gulch Magazine. You can learn more about what Jasmine does over at gulchmagazine.com. And now we are back in the studio with Miss Alison Law. Hello.
Hi there.
So you brought a story as our featured contributor today. Would you tell us about the graphic novel that you're going to share with us?
The novel is called Islands in the Sky, and I have to concentrate very hard not to say Islands in the Stream by Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. Because I think I might have said that once to the person who put it together. It's called Islands in the Sky, and it's about people who were first-person survivors of Hurricane Helene when it landed in western North Carolina and southern Appalachia.
Devastating.
Devastating. And we are coming up on the 2-year anniversary of that, believe it or not.
Wow.
And still a significant portion of those communities are rebuilding, still living in damaged homes or living with friends. And so there's obviously the darker side of that story that comes out, but really what shines through in this graphic novel are the stories of hope and the stories of community.
That's wonderful. I've heard the piece already. It's fantastic. So let's share it with everyone else.
Okay.
This is Alison Law speaking with Andrew Aydin.
Atlanta native Andrew Aydin was just a 24-year-old communications staffer when he convinced Congressman John Lewis to share his accounts of growing up in the segregated South and being part of the civil rights movement as a graphic novel. Lewis insisted that Aydin co-author the stories with him. They, along with illustrator Nate Powell, created March, the first comics work to ever win a National Book Award. That became the March trilogy and was followed by another graphic novel series called Run. Fast forward to September 2024. Andrew Aydin is still carrying on the late congressman's legacy by speaking and managing multimedia projects across the country through Good Trouble Productions. Little does he know that his next big comic book project is about to arrive at his doorstep in Edneyville, North Carolina.
Hurricane Helene was a storm that was so devastating. The United States had really never seen anything like it that far inland. It completely cut off western North Carolina and southern Appalachia from the rest of the world. The roads were inaccessible. There was no telecommunications services. There was internet, no phone, nothing. We couldn't get word out, and we couldn't get out ourselves.
At what point did you decide you wanted to tell this story of Hurricane Helene as a graphic novel or a comic book?
I remember the first day after the storm, it was as if I was living in a real-life version of The Walking Dead, where you had people just living amongst total destruction, houses crushed, towns wiped away, people wandering dazed on the side of the road with nowhere to go, cars abandoned, out of fuel. The tragedy of that part changed me. But I dealt with it in the same way I have dealt with all of the things in my life that have made me sad or made me angry. Just like I was sad and angry with the way John Lewis was being treated and portrayed, because he and I were becoming so close back in 2007 and 2008, and he was being told, you're not relevant, nonviolent civil disobedience is not relevant, and we helped bring him to new generations and new audiences through the comic books, through the social media. And this is where Good Trouble came from, right? You deal with that frustration and anger through creativity.
When things started coming back online, Aydin grew increasingly frustrated with outsiders parachuting in and becoming the voices of the region.
When we were finally able to reconnect, we found that what we endured during that period was being vastly distorted on the internet by people who seemed to be operating with political intent. A woman named Elon Justice wrote a thesis called Hillbilly Talkback at the MIT Media Lab. She laid out the long history of outside interests controlling the narrative of Appalachia. And then she proposed something that resonated very strongly with me, which was the idea of co-authorship. That it's not enough to simply give people from Appalachia the opportunity to tell their story. You have to help them tell their story.
Aydin called on his network of award-winning graphic novelists and comic book writers, including Gene Yang, Matt Fraction, and his March collaborator, Nate Powell. Everyone signed on to help with the first of a planned series of books, and the Appalachia Comics Project was born.
I'm Allie, and this is my husband, Jim Bordy.
Hey there.
And we live in Swannanoa, North Carolina.
On September 27th, 2024, the Bordys and some 25 other families on their street were flooded to the gutters. They, along with their dog Piper, were on the roof, trapped by torrential waters from Hurricane Helene.
We saw literally anything that got carried downriver. People's cars, houses, sheds.
We saw a lot of sheds. And then all of a sudden...
there was this armada of ducks.
like so many rubber ducks. I would say close to 1,000.
It turns out there was a Jeep repair shop nearby. And if you know anything about Jeep ownership, then you know of the ducking tradition, where one Jeep lover will leave a rubber duck on the bumper or windshield of another Jeep. Those ducks were a symbol of goodwill on an otherwise bleak day.
All of a sudden, you're in this space of terror and survival mode.
Destruction.
And then
This comical scene happens.
yeah, there was just so many ducks floating down the river. And there was a few things that day that we made our humor help us survive, but those ducks were just a bright light in the day for sure.
The Bordy's incredible story, including their rescue by kayak, is one of 11 featured in the new graphic novel, Islands in the Sky. Aydin explains that the collection pairs respected writers and illustrators with Hurricane Helene survivors to capture their first-person accounts.
We've written a book about this tragedy, and yet everyone who is in the book, all of the stories in it, they may make you cry, but they also help you feel connected and hopeful. And the reality of what happened was both tragic and beautiful. As people disconnected, put their phones down, they also set aside the identities that came with that. And they helped one another. They shared.
We are coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the hurricane. What is happening now, 2 years later, that we don't understand or we need to know about the recovery? And that speaks to the beauty and the resilience of the people who have come together as a community.
The dark elements are that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in this region who are still living in homes that are critically damaged. People have made the best of it, but the fact that the region has only received less than 20% of federal reimbursement has meant that the state has been unable to respond quickly to rebuilding roads, buildings, infrastructure, homes. People who even have gone through the whole process of insurance and things like that. I think we're all very frustrated and angry with the way the quote-unquote system failed people. But what they don't understand is how resilient the people of the region are. If someone hasn't rebuilt their home, a lot of times they're living with a friend or a neighbor. There's been unbelievable work done by local nonprofits using private donations. I live in the Apple Valley, and those sort of elements kind of lead us all to the saying that we've repeated to ourselves, many of us have, which is that the federal government didn't save us, the state government didn't save us, we saved ourselves.
Aydin said another reason he feels so strongly about sharing these firsthand accounts is that environmental catastrophes like Hurricane Helene are predicted to become more commonplace because of climate change. He hopes that these graphic novels will lead to systemic change, but also provide a roadmap for the people who will go through something like this in the future. You can buy your copy of Islands in the Sky online at AppalachiaComics.org. For the ATL Arts Collective, I'm Alison Law.
That was today's featured contributor, Alison Law. And now it's time for ArtsATL's Best Bets with executive editor Shane Harrison.
There's a little something for everyone in this week's Best Bets, from artsy insects to a Pulitzer Prize-winning play to the smooth sounds of the 70s and 80s. Primetime is Yacht Rock's most ambitious live production to date, inspired by the golden age of television and the band's own roots as a DIY club act. The tour, which has taken them all over the country throughout the summer, reflects the band's evolution from Atlanta club favorite to one of the most in-demand touring acts in the country. Catch them at Synovus Bank Amphitheater on August 29th. In Brandon Jacobs Jenkins' Purpose, which opens at the Alliance Theater on August 28th, the Jasper family is gathering for a long overdue reunion. For decades, they've been the embodiment of Black political power and public virtue, a dynasty of ministers, activists, and change-makers, but when a young outsider arrives with questions no one is prepared to answer, carefully guarded secrets begin to surface. The play won the 2025 Pulitzer Prize for Drama and the Tony Award for Best Play in a production that originated at Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago, directed by Felicia Rashad. The Alliance production will run through September 28th. Renowned worldwide for his iconic I Spy and Can You See What I See children's book series, Walter Wick is one of the nation's most famous photographic illustrators. Throughout his decades-long career, his award-winning books have captivated readers across cultures and generations, combining art, craft, and technology to inspire, discovery, and wonder. This fall, The High will present I Spy, Walter Wick's Hidden Wonders, the largest survey of Wick's work to date, from August 28th through January 3rd, 2027. Robert Kramer's and John Douglas's sprawling and ambitious 1975 film Milestones is an epic of everyday life. It follows dozens of characters and blends fiction, documentary, and reenactment in telling the story of 60s radicals grown up, mourning the sense of hope that defined their youth and trying in their own ways to move forward in the post-Vietnam War era. Film Love will present the film at the Plaza Theater on August 27th. John Heffron's comedy journey began in college, and since then he has made a name for himself with his appearances on NBC's Last Comic Standing, where he emerged as a fan favorite and winner. His comedy specials on Netflix and Comedy Central have further solidified his reputation as one of the top comedians in the country. He'll be at the Punchline from August 27th through August 29th. You Are Not Alone, Bugs, is Charlotte Wolf's second curatorial project with the Department of Fine Arts at Georgia State University's Perimeter College. It celebrates the remarkable world of insects and will feature 18 artists from across Georgia working in photography, painting, sculpture, ceramics, mixed media, and installation. The exhibition highlights the essential role insects play in our ecosystems, while exploring themes of pollination, labor, decomposition, and interdependence through a wide range of artistic perspectives. For the ATL Arts Collective and ArtsATL, I'm Shane Harrison.
Shane actually curates a much longer list each week, and you can read about all of his picks over at artsatl.org. And with that, we have reached the end of the show.
Already?
Alison Law, what a treat.
Oh, my treat. The treat was all mine.
If people want to keep up with you, how do they follow along?
I would love for you to come and visit my website, AlisonLaw.com. That's kind of where my home base is in communications land.
Perfect. Well, we'll be in touch, and thank you again for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Kim.
Thanks to the CP Group and Downtown Atlanta, Inc. for giving us a home at the center, which, by the way, is going to look very different next week when we welcome the one and only Lois Reitzes. Our theme music is K. Michelle Dubois' Hit the Deck from her album Astral Heart. The ATL Arts Collective is part of the Wordplay Collective podcast family. Check out our sister show, In Pieces with Our Land. Go check out some local art this weekend, and we'll see you next week.